Welcome to the second project. Let us start. We're just doing pretty much the basics. So input and output. Okay, so the first project we just learned the basics about the variables. So now we actually want to see how we can work with input and output, how we can work with a little bit of operators, and some of the concepts that we can work with in C. So as you can see, we've got using Namespace Standard, which is similar to what we had in C, where we can actually work with standard libraries or standard values. So simply put, we can create our variables and then give an input, create our variables, then give how our basic operators work. So we can actually start by having two variables, which we can have int, and int we can say num. We then say that is equal to 0. So we actually have our value being equal to 0. We have another character, and we can call it cn, and we also initialize that to a specific value. Okay, so after initializing this, we want to be able to see how we can work with these within our project or within our C. So to do that, we would need to have the following. We have a cout. This is for output onto our screen, and then we say enter a valid integer, like that. We put our end line, and then we put a cin for getting our keyboard input, and then we put our num, which is our variable. We do the same for the next item, which is our character. We can just copy that and paste that there. So enter a valid character this time. And then we then put our cn for our character. This then means we've got our integer and our character. We can just have a cout that gives us the output of that. So we can say character and integer. So for the integer, it's num. For the character, it's cn, and then we put our end line like that, so that if we run our project, we should be able to get spelled cout the wrong way. That's why we're getting that error. And you can see at the bottom there it says count was not declared in this perspective. So enter a valid integer, I put 5. Enter a valid character, I put k, and then I've got 5k. So the reason why it's actually coming out like that is we just put everything in one continuous line. We're just supposed to actually cut it up and make sure that we've got two separate instances of our content, so that it displays that displays neatly. So I've just actually redone that. so that we can put our values and we see how it works. I typed that too fast. Let me redo that. And we've got our integer being 5 and our character being u. So that's how we actually use our standard input and output. So from there, we then want to work with operators or arithmetic operators. Okay, so we then need to maybe put new variables. Let's say we've got int f and g, which become our variables. We still want to initialize these the same way we did there. Okay, so we will simply put a cout, and our cout will get our input, or rather what we need to input, and then cin will get what we need to output. So we say enter number at position 1, and we also say the same for the next one, enter number at position 2. So this then becomes f, that then becomes g. So we then want to display the numbers based on what we would want to do. So we put a cout, and we put our results that we want. And line. So f plus g, f plus g equal, we put the next 3, which is plus, minus, subtracts, and divide and multiply. So this then becomes subtract, that then becomes multiply, that then becomes divide. So we can also put just a cout there and state that we want to be able to see how our operators work. Okay, so if we run it, we then get the following: enter the integer, that's 5, enter our character, that's k, and then we want to enter at position 1, we put 10, at position 2 we put 5, so that we can then get to display whatever it is that our results may be. So here ends our